So let us start chapter number 12, decision making. Now tell, who takes decisions? Who will take decision? Is it top level management, middle level management, or lower level management? Who will take? Wrong. Wrong. It depends. It depends whether power is centralized or decentralized. Simple. Decision making depends upon whether the power is centralized or decentralized. If power is centralized, who will take decisions? If power is centralized, who will take top level? If power is decentralized, who will take decisions? Everyone will take decision. Depending upon my capability, I will take a decision. Clear? So in exam, decision making depends upon what? Centralization or decentralization. Clear? No. Decisions are taken to support what? Organizational growth. If I don't take a decision, I will not be able to survive my business. Day-to-day operations depends upon what? Managerial decisions. Can you tell me what are day-to-day operations of a business? Purchase, sales, clear, cash counting, and next what else it will be? Issuing debit notes, issuing credit notes, purchase returns, sales returns, etc., etc. Now, if uh, let us assume that centralization of power is there. Let us assume that there is power is centralized, means top level management is taking all the decisions in a company. In that situation, if top level management till now has not decided, top level management till today has not decided who will take care of purchases, who will take care of sales, who will take care of cash counting, who will take care of debit notes, who will take care of credit notes, you think business will run? No. So for day to day operations of a business, what is mandatory? Decision making is mandatory. Next, decision making is a substance of management job, means it is a part of management job. It is a part and parcel of management. All functions of management involve decision making. Yes, everything requires decision making. Whether should I purchase or not, should I sell or not, if I purchase, how much, if I sell, how much should be the sales? Simple. Just a second. Next, then it says decision is the selection of course of action from several alternatives. So I have multiple alternatives. Based on that, I need to select one correct decision I need to take. Let us say, for example, you could have gone for CS, you could have gone for CA, you could have gone for ACCA. Many other courses were there. Out of the multiple alternative courses available to you, you selected what? So you selected CMA. That is called what? Decision. Decision making is what? Process of arriving at a final selection. Now let us say, for example, uh, your parents have given you some options. Clear? It is BCom you will do, MCom you will do, MBA you will do, and clear, your parents are giving you some options: CA, CS, CMA, ACCA. Clear? These are some 6-7 courses your parents have told. Now you have shortlisted. You have shortlisted MBA, CMA, and CS. You have shortlisted. You have not selected a final one. You have just shortlisted. The shortlisting of alternatives is called what? Decision. Shortlisting of alternatives is called what? Decision. Now you have shortlisted and your parents are asking, now tell me final one, what you want to do? You want to do MBA, CMA, or CS? Finally, after 1 week of giving time, they are asking you to select one thing because they have to give money, right, for classes. Then finally you selected CMA. This is called what? Decision making. Clear? So out of multiple options, I repeat, out of multiple options, shortlisting some options is called what? Shortlisting is called as decision. Making a final selection is called what? Decision making. I hope you understood the difference between decision making and decision. Clear? Decision is taken by whom? Decision is taken by middle level management, lower level management. Clear? Decision making is always done by whom? Top level management. I am assuming that it is centralized organization. Now, how many types of decisions are there? Let us see. Routine decisions. Clear? There are multiple types of decisions: routine decisions, strategic decisions, programmed, non-programmed decisions, policy decisions, operating, organizational, personal, individual and group. How many? 2 and 4, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. There are 10 types of decisions what can be taken. First one, routine decisions. So routine decisions are nothing but day-to-day decisions. Like let us say, for example, should I sell to this fellow on credit or cash? Who will sign the invoice? Who will enter the invoice into the accounts? Simple. These are called day-to-day decisions. These day-to-day, now tell me, day-to-day decisions who will take? Top level management or lower and middle level management? Who will take? Like every day you want to sell something, you go and ask the owner of the company, sir, should I sell or not? You want to purchase something, will you go again and ask every time? Your day-to-day activities, sir, should I enter this invoice in the accounts or not? Sir, should I calculate the total, should I do or not? No. So routine decisions are nothing but day-to-day decisions, which are also called as what? Tactical decisions. Clear? Routine decisions are also called as day-to-day or tactical decisions, and these are small decisions, like should I come to office today or not? Should I take a leave or not? How many hours should I sit in the office? What work should I do? What work should I not do? These are taken by whom? Middle level and lower level management. They are repetitive in nature, means every day you have to decide what work you have to do today, what work you have to do tomorrow, what work you have to do day after tomorrow. Every day this headache will be there. They are based on established policies and procedures, means company will tell you, you are an accountant. Simple, you have to do accounting. Every day you decide what accounting you want to do. You are a sales manager. Katham. What is the role of a sales manager? Company will tell you. Katham. They are like set policies and procedures. Some agreement will be there when you go to a company, when you join a company, you will sign an agreement, right? In that agreement, whatever they are asking you to do, that only you will do, right? Something new you won't do. You cannot take any decision on your own. Clear? These are nothing but routine decisions like purchase, sales, etc. etc. Strategic decisions. Now, decisions which will affect the complete company. A decision, a small decision also, it will have a big impact on the complete company. Not on you, not on me. Complete company is involved. Now tell, who will take these type of big decisions where complete company is involved? Middle level, lower level or top level? Who will decide these things? Like a small thing also, it will affect the complete business. Top level. Example, merger, demerger. Should I invest or not? Should we buy, should we manufacture more or not? Demand and sales planning. These will be done by whom? Strategic decisions, top level management. They are also called as what? Basic decisions. Clear? Next, they relate to what? Policy matters. Policy matters means matters which require, which will affect the complete business. Next, they require what? Analysis of facts. Now, so day-to-day working does not require any analysis. Accounting does not require any analysis. Purchase sales does not require any analysis. But sir, taking a decision which will affect the complete company. Someone wants to buy the shares of my company. It will affect my business. I need to analyze. I have to invest money in shares, debentures, bonds. I need to analyze. I need to do mathematical calculations, calculate the price of a product. All these decisions are called as what? Strategic, and are taken by top level management. Next, programmed decisions. Clear? Programmed decisions. Sir, programmed decisions are nothing but, let us say, these are programmed decisions. Let us take an example. Amazon. Here, sell on Amazon. I want to become a seller on Amazon. I want to become a seller on Amazon. Now, I call whom? I call the customer care of Amazon. Whatever information is available here, will they give me the same information or something else they will explain me? If I have a problem, will they give me different solution or same solution? I call them 10 times. 10 times I speak to different people in Amazon. Will they ask me to register as a seller in a different way or a same way? I want to register Amazon as a seller. I speak to 10 different people in Amazon. Will they tell me 10 different answers how to register or same answer everyone will tell? Same way, right? Why? These are called what? Programmed decisions. Means if something happens, what will be your reply? Simple. If something happens, what will be your reply? A customer is calling saying that product is not delivered. What will be your reply? If customer is telling that customer wants to return the product, what will be your reply? Customer wants a refund, what is your reply? Customer wants to buy a product is not available, when will it come in stock, what will be your reply? So question answer will be ready. You already know, if this problem comes, how should I solve? If this problem comes, what should I reply? I am already ready with a script. They are called what? Programmed decisions. They are also routine in nature. Clear? But they are for what? Structured problems. These are called what? Structured problems. Structured problem means I know customer might face this problem. I also know what is the solution. Clear? Next. Non-programmed decisions means they relate to which problems? Unstructured means suddenly something a client is asking, something new, suddenly something may happen. Let us say Amazon website is not working only. You think every day Amazon website will not work? Or very rarely? Sir, once in 5 or 6 years it may happen. It may not happen also. So something which I feel that will never happen, will I decide something in advance? Let us say Amazon or Flipkart, they think that website will always be available, never something will happen to a website. When I am 100% sure nothing will happen to my website, will I already decide something in advance, or will I take a spot decision? Tell me. Amazon, Flipkart are thinking that their website will never give any problem. When they are 100% sure that nothing will happen to their website, will they decide problems in advance, or they will take spot decisions? So they will always take spot decisions. These spot decisions are called what? Unstructured problems. Clear? Now tell. Programmed decisions who will take? Programmed decisions who will take? Script is there. Question, answer. Question, answer. Who will take? Top level management or other levels of management? It may be either lower level or middle level. Non-programmed decisions. Suddenly some problem has come. No one knows how to deal with it. Who will deal with it? Top level management. Clear? So routine decisions, I repeat, routine and programmed who will take? Lower level management and middle level management. Non-programmed and strategic decisions who will take? Top level management. Next, then we have policy decisions. Now tell, who will create policies of a company? Refund policies, return policies, purchase policies, sales policy. Who will prepare? Which level of management? Policies are prepared by which level of management? Top level management. Operating decision means implementation of policy. Who will implement the policy? Top level or other level? Implementation of policies. Which level? The policy preparation decision will be taken care by top level. Operating decisions means implementation of policy, day-to-day implementation of policy. Who will take care of it? Clear? Either it will be middle level management or it can be lower level of management. Next. Then we have organizational decisions. So decisions which are taken for the company. Clear? Decisions which are taken for the company as a manager are called what? Are called as organizational decisions. I am taking some decision for the company purpose, not for mine. That is called what? Organizational decisions. So decisions which I am taking for my own decisions for myself, they are called what? Personal decisions. Clear? Decisions taken for the company. Organizational decisions. Decisions taken for my personal matter. Should I marry or not? Should I, you can say, learn this course or not? Personal decisions. I am asking all the employees to do a particular course to get a job in my company. Is it related to company? Yes. Organizational decisions. Then we have individual decisions and group decisions. Tell me, any decision which will affect multiple people. Tell me, any decision which will affect multiple people, taken by multiple people. Any decision which is taken by multiple people and it will affect many people in the company. What is it called? Is it individual or group? They are called as group decisions. So group decisions are also called as collective decisions. Clear? I repeat, group decisions are also called as collective decisions. Next, decision which is taken by only one person and it will affect only one person only. What is it? I am only taking a decision, it will affect me only. Clear? Now tell, which one is autocratic? Which one is autocratic style of management? Individual or group? Which type of decision making is autocratic? Which type of decision making is autocratic? Individual. Which type of decision making is not autocratic? Group. Clear? Next. Shall we continue or will continue tomorrow? Enough for today? Okay. So here we'll stop. You want me to continue or stop? We feel that lot of things we have studied, we can continue tomorrow, because anyhow, if I continue or not tomorrow, anyhow we are going to complete our syllabus. So please let me know. If you feel that it's like lot of things we have learned, we'll take a break now. We'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow? Okay. Chalo then, let us meet again tomorrow. So tomorrow will be last day. Some 2-3 concepts are pending, small concepts in this chapter. We will complete that tomorrow. This chapter MCQs also will complete tomorrow, and a question paper discussion also will do tomorrow. Clear? Bye everyone. Yeah. So till here we have done, right? So we have seen introduction to decision making and types of decision making. So decision making process, techniques of decision making, and non-program decisions. These 3-4 small concepts are pending. Let us finish that. Next one is techniques of decision making. Whenever I'm taking a decision, I repeat, whenever I'm taking a decision, I cannot take a decision like that only. I need to apply my mind. I need to think. I need to analyze and then take a decision. So there are multiple ways in which you can take a decision. Here there are multiple methods you can utilize. Let us see one by one method. Sir, method number 1 is called as linear programming. Second method is probability decision theory. Third method is game theory. Fourth method is queuing theory. Fifth method is simulation, and sixth method is networking techniques. Clear? Now, sir, what exactly do we mean by linear programming? Sir, linear programming may only one thing you have to keep in mind. Your utility should be maximum. This utility should be minimum. In simple words, if I say you have to maximize your profits with your decision making and minimize your losses. That is only called as what? Linear programming. I'm not talking linear programming from mathematics or statistics point of view. This is from management point of view. I repeat, linear programming, what you have studied under mathematics or statistics, is completely different. Only that word called linear programming is used in management. But in management, linear programming means what? Maximizing the profits, minimizing the losses. Clear? Maximizing the utility and minimizing the disutility. Clear? Maximizing the satisfaction, minimizing the dissatisfaction. But sir, how to maximize the utility and minimize disutility? How? Whenever you are going to take a decision, two things you have to keep in mind. One is how many resources you have and how many constraints you have. Constraint means problems. So how many resources I'm having means, let us say how many employees I'm having, how much money I'm having, how much time I'm having. So what are the advantages I have? That is called as resources. And what are the disadvantages I have are called as constraints. Now tell me, my resources are greater than constraints. Clear? My resources are greater than constraints means my advantages are more than disadvantages. Tell me, will I maximize or minimize in this case? My resources are more than constraints. My utility will be maximum or minimum? Maximum. My constraints are greater than resources. My resources are less. My advantages are less. Disadvantages are more. At that point of time, I will try to maximize the profits or minimize losses. I will try to minimize the losses. Sir, when my disadvantages are more, obviously I cannot think of profits, right? When my disadvantages more, my disadvantages are more, I obviously cannot think of profits. I should only think of reducing the losses. Clear? And it is useful only in the conditions of what? Certainty. When you are 100% sure that there is no chance of, I repeat, when you are 100% sure that the resources and constraints are there, then only you can take a decision. Clear? So linear programming mein what will I do? 3 points you have to remember. Point number 1, I will try to maximize the utility or minimize the disutility. To understand which method I should follow, I need to decide what are my resources and constraints. Resources are greater than constraints, and I'm certain about that. I'm 100% certain that my resources are more than constraints. Go for maximizing the profits or utility. If I am 100% certain, if I'm 100% sure or certain that my constraints are greater than resources, what is it called? It is called as minimizing the disutility. This is option number 1. Option number 2, probability decision theory. Now tell, can I predict my future with certainty? Can I predict my future with certainty? Yes or no? Can I predict my future with certainty, with surety? No. But can I predict my future? Can I predict my future probably? Can I use probability? Like 70% I'm sure. So when I am not 100% sure, I will go for what? Probabilistic decision theory. I repeat, listen to this very carefully. Sir, I'm 100% sure. Will I go for linear programming or probability? When I'm 100% sure, I will go for linear programming or probability. I will go for linear programming. When I'm not 100% sure, when I'm not certain, then I will go for what? Probability. Simple concept, right? I'm 100% sure. That is what it says. Certainty. I'm 100% sure. Linear programming. I am less than 100% sure. Probability decision theory. So simple reason. See, if I am taking a decision for future, I repeat, when I am taking a decision for future, sir, future is not certain, right? I will go for what? Probability decision theory. If I am taking a decision for today, then I will go for what? Linear programming. Clear? So that is what it says. Behavior of future is probabilistic, not deterministic. Means I cannot give a 100% guarantee about my future. I can only give less than 100% guarantee. Next, various probabilities are to be evaluated. Now, what are the various probabilities? Probabilities means, let us say future may, there might be many things, right? Future may, there can be many things. Not one thing, not multiple options are available to you. So let us say, for example, if I take decision 1, what is going to happen? What is not going to happen? If I take decision 2, what is going to happen? What is not going to happen? If I take decision 3, what is going to happen? What is not going to happen? So analyze in multiple ways. Probability can be of multiple ways, right? You might have studied in mathematics. Now, decision trees can be used for this analysis. Let us say simple example where probabilistic decision theory is used is stock market. Clear? Stock market. Let us say, for example, I have 100 rupees to invest. Clear? I can invest either in preference shares or I can invest in equity shares. Clear? Not basically not like that. I can either invest in shares or I can either invest in debentures. Clear? Now I want to take I want to take high risk and high profits. I will invest in shares. I want to take less risk and less profits. I will invest where? In debentures. Or I have another option. Out of this 100 rupees, 70 rupees I will invest in shares and 30 rupees I will invest in debentures. Again in debentures, 5 rupees I will invest in secured debentures, 5 rupees in unsecured debentures, 5 rupees in some XYZ debentures. Out of 70 rupees, 30 rupees I'm going to invest in preference shares, 40 rupees I'm going to invest in equity shares. What am I doing here? This is called what? Decision tree. Clear? And these lines what I've drawn are called what? Branches. This analysis will be useful. So to sum up, you have to just remember what? Point number 1. Sir, future ka decision I have to take. Go for which method? Probabilistic method. Present decision I'm taking. Go for what? Go for linear programming. I'm 100% sure linear programming. Not 100% sure probability decisions. Next. Then we have game theory. Sir, game theory is useful only when you have competition, you have rivalry, you have conflict. Now let us say, for example, who is the biggest competitor for Oppo? Who is the biggest competitor of Oppo phones? Can you tell me? Who is the biggest competitor of Oppo phones? it can be Vivo, clear, it can be MI, it can be Realme, it can be Poco. So many people are there, right? So when competition is there, I will go for what type of analysis? Game theory. Rivalry, conflict, or competition is there. So competition can be there between two people, three people, or any number of people, right? Any number of people. Now let us say Apple. There is no competition for Apple. But when I talk about Samsung, Samsung ko there are multiple competitors. OnePlus is there, Vivo is there, Oppo is there, MI is there, and Poco phone is there. So many companies are competitors, right? So there can, if there is no competition, can I use game theory when there is no competition? No. I can use game theory only when there is competition. Competition can be between two people, more than two people, it can be between hundred of people, right? Next. So it can be either a zero sum game or a non-zero sum game. Now what exactly do we mean by zero sum and non-zero sum? Listen very carefully. Sir, zero sum game means one person will win, second person will lose. Simple. 100% benefit for one company, 0% benefit for another company. Non-zero sum game means both the companies will win. Simple. Both the companies will win. Company 1 may have 70% win margin. Company 2 may have 30% win margin. Company A may have 50%. Company second can also have 50%. When both the companies are winning, that is called what? Non-zero sum game. But when one company has a complete advantage and the other company has zero advantage, that is called what? Zero sum game. Now let us say, for example, best example if I can give you, Monopoly. Monopoly. Tell me, Monopoly is a zero sum game or a non-zero sum game? Only one person is there or multiple people are there? Monopoly comes under zero sum or non-zero sum? Zero sum. Simple. Example of Monopoly in India, railways. Railways is an example of what? Zero sum game. No one can come. Now, bus is there, or planes are there, flights are there. Bus and planes comes under what? Non-zero sum game. There are many people, right? If you take bus, red bus is there, Make My Trip is there, Go Ibibo is there, Clear Trip is there. Flights में Indigo is there, Jet Airways already gone, Kingfisher Airlines gone, what else? Air India is there. So many companies are there, right? Air Asia. So when multiple people are able to capture the market, non-zero sum game. Only one person is having a market. What is it called? Non-zero sum game. Next we have simulation. I hope everyone knows simulation. Simulation means creating a duplicate environment. Simple. Creating artificial environment is called what? Simulation. Clear? Observing the behavior under artificial settings is called what? Simulation. I am trying to copy someone else's strategy. That is called what? Simulation. Useful, clear, useful only when environment is complex. Sir, I have no other option now. If I don't, I repeat, if I don't copy you, I will not be successful. Let us say, for example, uh, mm, earlier cream biscuit, clear? Cream biscuit. Earlier cream biscuit was only one thing, chocolate cream, bourbon. Now bourbon is coming in, bourbon was originally introduced in India by whom? Cadbury. Clear? Bourbon was originally introduced in India by Cadbury. Now you'll get Britannia bourbon, you'll get Sunfish bourbon, you'll get so many companies selling bourbon, right? Have you seen that? What is happening here? One person called Cadbury bourbon biscuits were very successful in India. Now every other company is trying to copy it. Same taste, everything will be same. Only thing is that brand name will be different. What am I doing here? I am simulating a successful competitor. Clear? And then we have network techniques. So network techniques with two things are there. CPM, that is critical path method, and PERT is program evaluation and review technique. There is in detail explanation not required. You learn when you go to CA Inter. It comes under costing. Clear? So as of now, don't remember anything. Just remember the names enough. Explanation not required here. So point number one, let us revise. Now, if I feel that lot of competition is there, clear, lot of competition is there, which strategy should I follow? See that chart and tell me which one should I follow. Lot of competition is there. Lot of competition is there. Which one should I follow? Game theory. Next, I feel that I am 100% certain that what I am trying to do is correct. Linear. I am less than 100% certain. I am not certain basically. I am not 100% sure. Which one? Probability. Next, whatever my competitor is doing, I am copying it. Whatever my competitor is doing, I am copying it as it is. Simulation. Clear? CPM and PERT comes under network techniques. There is one more thing which I forgot. Queuing theory. Sir, queuing theory is nothing but reducing the waiting period. Khatam. I repeat, reducing the waiting period means solving the problems as early as possible. Clear? Queuing theory means reducing the waiting period. Now, earlier when you used to go to bank, earlier, what used to happen? People used to stand in line for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. They used to stand in line. Now, whenever you go to a bank, in order to deposit money, you need not go to bank, right? Either you can go to bank, or either you can go to cash deposit machine, or either you can transfer the money online to someone. Because of internet banking, Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, cash deposit machines, uh, number of people standing in line for getting something done in a bank, what it has done? Reduced. This technique is called what? Queuing theory. Means queuing theory means reducing the period of waiting for my customers. When customers ka waiting period reduces, what will happen? Automatically customer satisfaction will increase. Next. So these were the things. Now next let us see modern techniques for non-programmed decisions. Tell me, non-program means what? Non-program decisions means what? Will I think in advance, or they are like sudden decisions? Yesterday we have seen, right? Program, non-program. Non-program means I have already thought in advance, or they are quick decisions. What do we mean by non-programmed? Decided in advance or decided based on situation? Non-program means what? Will I decide in advance, or based on the situation I will take a decision? What do we mean by non-programmed? Quick decisions. Simple. As and when a situation arises, we will take a decision. Clear? Now, so let a simple question. If I want to take a decision based on the situation, three techniques are there: creative techniques, participative techniques, and heuristic techniques. Clear? Creative techniques means what? Now, suddenly something happened in your organization. Quick decision you have to take. What have to? Creativity should be there. Creativity for what? New ideas. New ideas should be there. Every time, let us say, every time you cannot take a same decision, right? Every time a same decision cannot be taken. What is required? Brainstorming is required. For what? New ideas. New ideas should be there, or new techniques you have to implement. Something new out of the box you have to think. Then only you will be successful. Second comes participative techniques. If you feel that you are not creative enough, if you feel that you are not creative enough, if you feel that you alone cannot take a decision, what you have to do? Employ what? Participative decision. Participative decision mein what will happen? As we have already seen so many times, employees will participate in what? Decision makings. I will sit along with the employees and then take a decision. Now my question is, participative comes under what? Does it come under autocratic or democratic? Participative comes under autocratic, democratic, or free reign. Where does it come? It comes under democratic. I am sitting with the employees and taking a decision. Also called as what? Industrial democracy technique. Clear? Next. Then we have heuristic techniques. Heuristic technique means trial and error technique. So trial and error means, sir, 5 new ideas I've thought. Every idea I will try to check. Idea number 1, okay, did not work out. Method number 2 did not work out. Method number 3 did not work out. Method number 4 worked out. Katham. So multiple ideas I will take. Every idea I will check whether it is correct or incorrect. Clear? This is called what? Rules of thumb. Rules of thumb means new ideas are generated. Clear? So whenever we talk about non-programmed decisions, 3 things are very important. What are those? Creativity, participation of employees, and heuristic. Heuristic means trial and error. I have multiple options. Every option I will try and check whether it is good or bad. Last one we have guidelines for effective decision making. Last concept, in you want to take a good decision. You want to take a good decision. Some things you have to keep in mind in order to take a good decision. Let us see what are those. Establish multiple decentralized centers. They say decentralized centers should be there. Means power should be decentralized. Decentralized power means what? Who has the power? Decentralized power means who has the power? Decentralized power means power is there with all levels. All levels means everyone involved in decision making. When everyone is involving in decision making, what will happen? Decision making will be effective. Clear? And delegate authority, this we already know. Next, determine the workload to reduce burden. Whenever your workload increases, whenever burden increases, decisions will be correct or incorrect. Lot of pressure is there, lot of burden is there on you, decisions may be incorrect. That is why reduce the workload, reduce the burden of your work. When burden reduces, when the work reduces, automatically decision will be good. Coordination through communication. Sir, since power is there with everyone, everyone should be connected to each other. All the employees should sit together, communicate with each other, and then take a decision. Expert staff to provide professional inputs. Like, let us say, for example, 10 people are there, and all the 10 people are discussing what to do, what not to do. They are getting confused. They can hire a professional, right? They can hire a CA, CMA, CS, MBA. Then that professional will give what? Professional inputs. They will guide in a particular manner. Then it says formulation of policies. This is very important. Who will take what type of decisions? And design and install decision support systems. So decision support system is a software which will help you in taking a decision. I repeat, decision support system. It is a software used by management to take decision. Khatam. Clear? So what are the things you have to keep in mind for good decision making? First one, power should be decentralized. Number two, good communication should be there. Number three, your workload should be very less. Number four, if you get confused, expert staff should be ready to guide you. Policies should be designed as to what decision can be taken by whom. And finally, if nothing is working out, use what? DSS, decision support systems. What are these? These are nothing but softwares which help you in taking decisions. You need not take. Whatever you ask a software will give you a reply. I hope it is clear.